my background is in journalism and more lately media consultancy and video. And I've been asked to talk about two of my favourite topics, which are smartphone videography and video marketing. And Smart Video, we kind of concentrate on shorter, web-friendly video. Not exclusively, we do other things as well, but you know, we produce for small businesses and organisations, and we also help with the video marketing side of it, because I think it's very important that you don't just get a lovely video. That's great, but what do you do with it afterwards? What's the point of having it if you can't drive traffic or sales or change opinions or brands or get people to do something? So we try and help with that. Some of our current clients include the Arts Council, Sport NI, various local councils, small PR businesses and charities, things like that. So I was going to start with smartphone, because part of my background of how I got into this was I was at the Belfast Telegraph and we were experimenting with different types of video. And we had a live news bulletin and things like that in the days when there wasn't enough broadband to support kind of live online news bulletins. And then we started playing around with smartphones, and we started producing smartphone video. Mobile journalism, or Mojo as it's called, has become quite a big thing in journalism. In fact, you'll see the BBC, in particular RTE, pioneering the use of smartphones. So they've become quite mainstream and the quality has got better. So I'll start with the smartphone video, and specifically talking about iPhones, because that's what I use and what most people use. But I mean, the principles are the same with Samsung and Android and all the other phones. And as a rule, sort of proper videographers and cameramen are quite scornful of iPhone videos, because the quality, very often the quality is absolutely rubbish, let's face it, and people don't know how to use them, and people kind of look down on it a bit. But the truth is that whilst that is true, the quality can be good if you know how to use them. And also, as a journalist and a marketer, I tend to look at it through the other end of the telescope. My way of looking at it is that the simple fact of having a video camera permanently on your person means that you have permanent access to a potentially brilliant free marketing tool that's with you all around it, as long as you know how to use it. So say, for example, you're an artist. I mean, rather than just painting your paintings and selling them, trying to push them to galleries or trying to push them on social media, what you could do, for example, with just a simple iPhone and a little bit of kit, interview yourself about the painting, with the painting in the shot, talk about the context that it was made, talk about maybe some of the intellectual or emotional reasons why you did it, get a pal to video you using the phone to finish it off, take some cutaway shots of your paint pots and where you are, maybe the mountain you're painting or whatever, and bang, you know, within not very long, you've got a free 1 minute a promo video that you can use as a marketing tool. And you know, to me, if I was to buy a painting and I got a 1 minute little piece of why the guy painted it and how, you know, that's true added value to me. I would love that. I wouldn't maybe show it to anybody, because I would just think this is, you know, a piece of one-to-one marketing. Also, I think it would be very useful for kind of defeating art fraud, which is a huge problem in the art world, because you'd have a contemporary time-stamped record of when the piece was made and a close-up of it, and you could probably do other things that would help with that. So, you know, for individuals and small companies and charities, you know, these things are great, but you have to get on top of the quality issue, because if you put out rubbish, it really reflects badly on you and on your brand or on your personality. And you know, if you've got terrible pictures, poor sound, wind noise coming all over the place, you heard that all over the internet, you hear wind noise, which is easy to fix actually, or to stop happening, but people don't do it. But it makes you look terrible, so you got to get on top of the quality. Let me just get rid of this. And the good news is, really, you can get over this quality issue with some very basic training and some very basic kit, and it's not difficult to do, but you do have to persevere and learn it. It's like any skill, you have to learn them. So what I wanted to do was show you really the potential of iPhone video by showing you 3 short clips made by experts, not by the likes of me, and hopefully the technology won't let us down. First one, this is the world's first iPhone movie. It was shot on an iPhone 10. You might not hear the sound too well because of this. It was shot on an iPhone 4 in 2012. a guy who'd never lifted an iPhone or a video camera or anything before in his life, and he bought his wife an iPhone, and within 2 years he'd made this, and I'll not play very much longer.
Is Frank Porter, and this is my story.
I'll stop it there because it's before the 9 o'clock watershed. It gets a wee bit violent. But I met the guy who made this, actually. He's a big Spaniard. I met him at a conference in Dublin, and he told me the story of how he bought his wife this iPhone 4 that had come out, and he didn't know anything about it, and she loved it, but she ran off to work the day he gave it to her, and he was fiddling with it, and he goes, "There's a video camera in this? Hey, that's pretty cool." And then he got so fascinated with it, within 2 years he'd made this short movie, which is the world's first iPhone short movie, on a $400 budget, and he now makes a living going around the world telling everybody about his iPhone films, and has a fantastic life, and loves Ireland. Actually, he may well come to Northern Ireland soon, I hope. So that was 2012. If you fast forward 3 years to 2015, a film called Tangerine was premiered at the famous Sundance Film Festival in the States. It had a budget of $100,000, and it was filmed entirely on 3 iPhone 5s. So the technology has improved again.
Hey, Alexandra, come here. Listen, have you seen Cinderella? Looks like someone has a crush. Cindy's back on the block? Oh yeah, she's back. She's back and she's going hard.
Merry Christmas, bitch. I got some good news to tell you about me and Chester.
I know what it is. You're breaking up with him. Thank God.
You can see how the style has changed. That some of the text over film that you get now is so common, but wasn't so common back then. These guys were very. This film has won a bunch of awards, and then just the last one. So the technology changed again, and the iPhone 6 came out. So my friend Conrad Mess, the Spaniard that I told you about earlier, produced this on his iPhone 6. Now he probably had at this stage had a budget of several thousand rather than $400.
Humans fascinate me. They are capable of the most noble and unselfish acts, and at the same time, the worst of the atrocities. Their soul can be a source of unlimited goodness, or a dark, filthy well. Evil can take many and different forms, but there is only one immutable constant common to all men. They always try to run.
And again, I'll stop it because it's before the watershed. He likes making kind of dark thrillers, things like that. But I think you know, the point is that although you see a lot of rubbish from these devices, you can make good stuff. Now, tons of post-production work has gone into that to make it look the way it is. He didn't just shoot it on an iPhone and bang it into his laptop out it comes, you know. But the potential is there. So the point is that quality is an issue, but used creatively, iPhones can be very effective, and actually, of course, as I mentioned earlier, incredibly cost-effective because you can get yourself video for next to nothing. But you do need a grasp of the basics, and I'll run very quickly through some of them. I mean, first of all, you need to know your phone. There are lots of features in these phones and the phone cameras that no one bothers to explore or does anything about, but they're there, and there's tons of great stuff. You need to have a little bit of knowledge of filming techniques, you know, to how to frame shots, rule of thirds, wide shots, close-ups, establishing shots, and why you shouldn't pan and zoom. You see amateurs, they always pan and zoom with everything when they get their iPhone. Lighting, of course, is a big thing. You know, a lot of iPhone shots you see from amateurs, just everybody's dark because they position them against a window, and light's coming from behind, and the sensors on the camera can't cope with that because they're not big enough and sophisticated enough. And so you need to understand to make sure the light is on the person and on the subject. And audio, you know, takes a bit of work, sometimes more difficult, I always found, than pictures, was actually getting the audio right, because you get your wind noise, you get people sound like they're a million miles away, or you don't get any audio at all because you've done something stupid and you've done an interview and you walked away and then there's no audio and you're really embarrassed. Then there's a kit. I brought some examples just of stuff that we used to use at the Telegraph. This is a really super cheap tripod. It's 25 or 35 pounds or something, but it expands out full height, and you could blow it over almost yourself, but it gets the job done. Or you can go for these little Joby tripods that sit on desk on your table. You can plant a phone on top of that. It's stable, gives you a decent picture. This one's actually magnetic, so you can actually clamp it onto like a wall or something, anything iron, and put your phone on it and get an alternative angle. You need a mount. This is the cheapest one that I've seen. It's a little mount that you put attached on the top of the tripod. Pop your phone in, slip on. It's about £5. But again, it holds the camera steady and it gives you enough stability to get shots that are not shaky. And mics, like a little lavalier mic, 50, 60 pounds to get a really good one. Runs from the phone, put it on the subject or on yourself, and you get decent sound as long as you're not in a challenging situation. And the experts are all trained, and why they're proper full-time videographers and cameramen is because they're trained to get the good stuff in challenging situations, not in controlled situations. Also, there's some really helpful software, particularly that was mentioned at the front there, Filmic Pro. Filmic Pro is an app, and it's absolutely brilliant. Actually, I've met the guy who wrote it at that conference. He's very passionate about iPhone filming. Does some brilliant, beautiful stuff himself. It allows you to override the automatic settings in the phone. So it allows you to play around with things like white balance and all that techie stuff that I don't really understand. White balance, auto exposure, frame rates and all that sort of stuff. It's really great, and you can get brilliant results with it as long as you know what you're doing. And then once you've got all your shots, you got to bring it into a hole and edit it. And so you need to have some editing skills, or you can just send all your material off to the likes of ourselves or Matt, you know. But iMovie is the easiest, simplest, most intuitive thing that's out there. I think it's possibly free or maybe a few pounds these days. You can use it on your laptop, or you can edit it on the phone. You can do a really basic quick edit. Now, I find it very fiddly. I find an iPad's better, but you can edit the thing on the phone and get a film out really fast. You know, it's pretty amazing. I think that's it, really. It's a huge subject that's growing, and there's websites and YouTube tutorials all over the internet about how to use iPhones properly and how to use lots of post-production techniques and apps and things to add in text and effects and all sorts of things that you can really do to make these things quite sophisticated. But I think from a small business perspective, like the artist or a small company, it's possible to make decent video for social media. And you wouldn't necessarily want to be putting it up in a big giant projector or stuff like that, because you might not have the right formats and things, but you can market particularly cheaply with an iPhone, as long as you get on top of those quality issues, because that's the big thing. So I've got a sheet with some resources. If anybody's interested, I have a sheet here with links to various tutorials about audio and iMovie and all that there. Some are not bad, actually. But they demystify the rules about these things, and a lot of them are American stuff. They talk very quickly, but suppose we talk quickly in Northern Ireland. So that's that. I mean, as regards to video marketing, to me, video marketing is really then what you do. Well, first of all, video marketing comes in before you even make a thing, because if you don't know why you're making it and what you're going to do with it, then you shouldn't make it. But to me, video marketing is about answering 3 questions. The first one is exactly why do I want to make a video? Because you need to know why you're doing that. The second one is, how can this video advance my business or my personal requirements or solve a problem? And you know, videos are great at solving problems. You don't have enough traffic, you can get a video to bring traffic. You don't have brand recognition, get a viral video, get your name known. So there's all sorts of things. So what problems will video solve for me? What problems do I have, and can I use a video? And as Matt has mentioned earlier, what type of video should I use? From the list that he gave, explainers, customer testimonials, really. I think for small businesses, if you were a shoe shop in Bangor and you had Mrs. McMiggins and 5 others coming in, loyal customers, saying, I go here, blah, 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 used it down the years and this and this, that's very popular, because that's people from the community, very powerful, because that's people from the community who we know are not actors, we know are not professional liars or influencers who are being paid to make something look like it's real. you know, Mrs. McMiggins is real and people know her and all that sort of stuff. So there are a lot of creative ways to do it. For me, from a marketing perspective, the fundamental rule before you begin to make a video is one key question, and that's, what action do I want the viewer to take once the video stops playing? Because there is your opportunity. When the video stops playing, what do I want people to do? Do I want them to click through to a landing page? Do I want them to watch another one of my videos, which might have offers or products or just more of my content that I want people to engage with? Do I want them to see a promotional offer? Or do I want them to maybe put their email address in so I can then have a contact and a dialogue and engagement with them afterwards? So that question, what do I want the viewer to do, really should inform and drive your strategy, and it should be well thought of long before you make the video. Spend money on a commercial video or spend some time making something on your own with an iPhone. And although I'm talking up iPhones here, we rarely use them in our business. We use proper cameras, DSLR cameras and things like that. So iPhones have a use, but if you want to get into better stuff, best to go to the professionals. I thought I would maybe just run very quickly through a few useful tools in video marketing. One of them is a video objectives template. This is a 2 or 3 page thing with, I think I have an example here. Yeah, this one we used recently on a job. You've got a list of questions that you need to ask, and then the client writes in their answers, or you write in the answers yourself. And the questions are, what specific issue can this video help to solve? Can you express your aspirations as precise objectives that can maybe be measurable? Are there any wider goals that this video contributes? You might make a video for a specific reason, but you might want to have a wider reason for it too, part of your branding approach, part of your education approach or whatever. How do you measure success? Because it's really important to know, particularly if you've spent money on the video, and then after watching the video, what would you like your audience to think, to feel, and as I said earlier, to do, to take an action? And you know, I think it's very important for that. The right platform. There's so many platforms now, but choosing the right platform that fits your business is really important. Facebook, as Matt said, the traffic is gigantic, but I would query their figures. You know, a 3-second view is clocked as a hit, and that's, sorry, but it doesn't work. You can get awareness, and if you're very clever with maybe putting text up and trying to draw people onto clicking and clicking the sound. But it does have its uses, but I would be wary of its traffic claims. YouTube has a kind of smaller audience, but they're more engaged, and people on YouTube tend to watch through to the end and tend to do something with the video afterwards rather than just pushing it up the timeline. So YouTube, and there's great analytic tools and things like that. Twitter video, I think about a year ago, this Twitter got into video. It's great for social justice issues and news-based issues and things like that, and doing things that are really fast. LinkedIn, I think, is a really interesting one. Not every business wants to be on Facebook. Facebook is not the right forum for every business, particularly maybe larger businesses or like law firms and things like that. Facebook is just too jokey and too, you know. But LinkedIn, kind of different. And LinkedIn is now rolling out native video to everybody. I got mine, I think, 2 weeks ago, but I think businesses are going to take to video on LinkedIn in a very, very big way. It has that cachet of people believe it, and it's, you know, it's not like Facebook, particularly now with the fake news controversy you're seeing on Facebook and Twitter. So LinkedIn video, I think, will be huge in certain in medium and larger corporation market. Vimeo is, we're big fans of video. We do all our stuff in Vimeo. It's like a classier version of YouTube. There's no ads on it. There's a very high definition feel to it. It's brilliant for embedding videos on people's websites, and there's very powerful marketing tools attached to it. If you're a Vimeo Pro or a Vimeo business user in particular, there are a lot of very powerful marketing tools that you can use. And Instagram, which kind of almost been rescued from the brink a number of years ago, and is now, if you're in fashion, food, travel, that sort of thing, Instagram is fantastic for that. The other tool, third tool, sometimes is ignored, is thumbnails. People forget about thumbnails. Thumbnails are your shop window. The people have 3 seconds to evaluate if they're interested in what you're putting out, and your thumbnail has to grab them. It's like a tabloid headline, you know. It's bang, get people in. So take a lot of time over thumbnails, and if the images are dull, get text over them, get a very provocative or a teaser, some words. I don't know, the 5 reasons this picture broke my heart or something like that if you're an artist. I don't know, and get people to go. There's lots of tutorials online about how to put text on your thumbnails and make them more interesting. One of the big things I think is clickable links. So when you come particularly towards the end of the video, and you click on a link and it takes you to a destination that you want the person to go to. And this is particularly powerful with landing pages. And if you know the concept of landing pages, they're like little mini websites. And so you take, if your video is about a product, you click and they go to a landing page. That might not be the product page. You might take them to a landing page that's got 30% off for the next 2 hours or whatever, you know. But landing pages are incredibly popular, and they're quite cheap to plug into your website with certain apps and software. And they're becoming a really big deal, actually. Vimeo and YouTube are great for clickable links at the end of videos. Video cards are quite powerful too. The little pop-ups you see with other videos on them, other products on them. You know, you might just want someone to watch more of your videos, or you might want to see another product. If you're an artist again, you might want to talk about this painting, but then you might want to push up a still life, you know, a wee video about a still life that you've made, because your little person is more interested in still life than they are in landscapes or something like that. It keeps the viewer engaged and keeps your brand or your name in their mind. And a really powerful one, email capture tools. So at the end of the video, when the video stops rolling, people put in their email address and you can contact them, market to them, engage with them. Generally, of course, you have to play clever and give them a bit of an offer. You know, free ebook or money off, or, you know, the behind the scenes film that Matt mentioned earlier, that sort of thing. But email capture, and the great thing about that is it syncs with MailChimp and all the other marketing software, so you don't have to go and input it all again. It all comes across, and that's a very powerful email marketing tool. That's pretty much it, I think. It's a huge subject, they both are, but I'm kind of out of time. I could yak on all night about it, but I hope that was useful. Thanks very much to the hotel for accommodating us, and to Creative Momentum for a great project and a wonderful opportunity to speak and address everybody. And if you want some links to some of the YouTube tutorials, I have them up here. Thanks.